Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. On tonight's verses, we have Wild Turkey, Rare Breed, Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey, coming in at a 56.1% ABV, no age statement, versus Russell's Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, coming in at a 45% ABV, 6-year age statement. Now, by all retrospects, this is essentially Wild Turkey. It's just one of their offshoot brands, so a lot of people just say it's Wild Turkey. So I'm curious what the big differences on these two are, especially because we're getting up into big boy pricing here, and this one can be found all over the place. So let's take a look at them. We'll be diving in a little deeper into taste, notes, and of course market pricing. And feel free to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of when more Wild Turkey reviews show up, plus tons of other bottles. I have a bunch of comparisons with these because there's a lot of them, and B, they're pretty accessible bottles, at least in the Wild Turkey side of things. Depending on your market, obviously. All right. Color-wise, the Rare Breed is a bit darker. Just a little bit. But the definitely the Russell's is lighter. Okay. Let's go for nose on the Rare Breed. Definitely can tell it's a higher ABV. It's got more heft to it. It's thicker on the nose. Like, you smell that and you're like, ooh, you got some, you're bringing a punch to the party here. But once you get by that, you get that beautiful caramel and apple. That bit of rice spice in there. ABV does show up a little bit, but you're getting more of that barrel proof out of it versus a strong ABV. And there's almost like a mintiness to it as well. Very fresh. Almost herbal, but not quite herbal. Definitely not a medicinal rye. Yeah, no, I take it back. Definitely the herbal is showing up more. A little bit of a fresh lemon in there. But the rye spice is so subtle in this one, comparatively to a lot of your other ryes, especially on the nose. You can tell it's a rye, but it's not slappy in the face strong on that. Check out the Russell's Reserve. And see, for me, the Russell Reserve gives me more of that beautiful rice spice. It smells like a loaf of rye bread. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It reminds me of Angel's Envy rye without the rum cask. You get the vanilla, you get the oak, you get the caramel, but the rice spiciness out of this is so beautiful. Also, right up front, you get that beautiful cherry. The spice with that is mixing together so stinking well. And here I wasn't getting any cherry. The cherry is so up front. It's beautiful, it's spicy, it's not medicinal. Beautiful herbs going on there. The vanilla showing up. The rice spices there. To me, the funny thing is, this makes me think more of a rye, where this makes me think it just has rye influence. So, let's go for taste on the Russell's just because it's the lower proof. There you go. It's sweet. The rye characteristic is, again, malty rye bread. Beautiful on the taste. Got a good mouthfeel to it. It's got a bit of oak, but the finish isn't quite long enough for me. I wish it was a little longer, because at the end you're only kind of left with a little bit of rye. But the spice it brings across is sweet. The cherry is showing up. Almost maraschino cherry on the taste. Oak is showing up. I love the spice coming through. It is great. I love this sip. And at 45%, I think it's bringing off just enough. Could it be a little stronger? Could you bump this to 50? Maybe. But I think that its age that it's given on this one is giving it a bit more of that rye characteristic. I think it's had time to marry that together really well. But the thing also I love about it is it brings across that cherry sweetness. I've yet to run across a rye that I can think of that gives me both the beautiful baked bread rye plus cherry. It's damn good. All right, let's go for the barrel proof. See, that's so good too. The warmth it brings, it's a little thicker on the taste. The spices are coming across. The caramel is showing up very beautifully. The apple sweetness is there. That herbalness is there. But not the medicinal. And it's just bringing across more like rye spice, or this is more like rye bread. I think that's an interesting thing to think about when you put these two next to each other, is while they are kind of similar in some aspects, they're both straight ryes, completely different tastes. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That is so damn good. Oh, that's so good. It's not as complex per se than as this one, but the flavors it brings across are bold and brash. You're getting that caramel, and you're like, yeah, that's caramel. You're getting that apple. It's apple. You're getting that rye spice. Yeah, it's spice. The herbal is there. The flavors that it's packing are great. Where I find here, I'm getting more of the rye bread notes, and it's a little lighter, and it's not as hefty as the barrel proof for obvious reasons. They're both very interesting sips, and when you put them next to each other, they are completely different. And that's very awesome for me, because I love seeing why these two are on the shelf, essentially coming from the same place. What brings them here differently? And this is why. This is rye that we know. It's spicy, it's flavorful, it's impactful, it's got a warming mouthfeel. Here, it's like, oh, this is kind of rye and rye breads and a little sweet, and the cherry notes are coming through, and this is a little more friendly, where here is like, all right, you're ready to play real ball now. Okay, let's talk about market pricing, because we all know market price is market price, and it's always going to vary. In my market, I can get this for as cheap as $30. I've seen it go as high as about 45, closing into the near 50s. This one, the cheapest I've seen it, is $54, and it goes all the way up into the 70s. To be honest, you're going to want these ryes for completely two different reasons. And it's going to come down to not only price, but what kind of rye you want. Personally, I like the Russells better, and here's why. I love the cherry it brings across. I love the rye bread characteristics it brings across. Here, I still think this is an amazing sip, but you're getting more of the spicy rye, the barrel-proof heft behind it, the caramel, the everything like that are big, bold flavors. Where here, it's a little subtle, but the sweetness with that rye bread is beautiful. I think honestly getting close to $70 on this one's a little out of its wheelhouse in my opinion. At $53, if you can get it for that, I'd say buy it, yeah. Same thing with this. I think $30 is a beautiful price. Hell, I think $40 is a beautiful price. But once you're getting up into the $45s to $50, you're getting a little out of its wheelhouse. Because if I think of the highest dollar value of this one being about $50, and then I see this at $53, I'm going to pick this up. But if I see this at $30 and I see this at $53, that's $17 different. That's a good chunk of money difference. But again, it kind of comes down to the exact kind of rye you were wanting as an individual. I definitely think recommending both of these are great options. If you get a chance to try them both, do it. But personally, I'm going to give it to the Russells Reserve. So yeah, there you have it. Wild Turkey Rare Breed Barrel Proof Rye versus Russells Reserve Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey, aged 6 years. If you have a question about either bottle, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should put up against each other, also let me know down below. Doing these A/B comparisons is a lot of fun, and it should hopefully help you out at home. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.